Digital Marketing Misfits.
I think the biggest problem for most new people is they want to monetize so bad that they instantly get into I need to sell content.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get into I need to sell you something content, everybody who's watching that content instantly knows that you're trying to sell them something, and they instantly tune out. They're done. Nobody wants to be sold. And there's a lot of times there's no value. It's just like, let me sell you something. Let me sell you something. Almost no value. And then they'll pique curiosity, but still no value. And then they feel sold constantly. And I don't think that's the greatest way to build your personal brand. Put a crap ton of value out there. And every once in a while, be like, hey, look, there's this really cool thing. Yeah, I want to sell you something, but it is really cool. And let me throw it out there, whatever. You just be honest upfront and whatever. Yeah, I can make a commission from this. That's great and all fine and dandy. But here's why I believe in this for whatever reason. Throw it out there and then make more value content after that. All these people out there making sell content for 95% of their content it doesn't work.
But shameless plug, if you do want our merch, the story is on the
shop.digital marketing miss Scotty, why don't you do a twirl for us with all your merch on? He is head to toe swag.
A twirl? I don't have
yeah, he's
Scotty swagged out his credit card.
But to your point, Jason, too, another shameless plug, that is why we created Anonymous Influencers. So people didn't have that immediate struggle of selling something that they just bought. They go over there to learn how to do it over there, and it has nothing to do with selling anything. So there you go.
People that I know that sell the most don't sell anything at all.
No, people almost get to a point where they just start asking, how can I support you? I see that all the time. And again, obviously in the marketing and business space, like everybody has a thing to sell. That's just the nature of that corner of the internet. But you step out of that little teeny tiny corner and you get like people who are like homesteaders. I got homesteaders. I got the one guy, Bearded Bard. I wouldn't put him as homesteader, but he does hack reacts and like the what no way guy. He's kind of in that section of the world. And there's literally people in the comments like, hey, how can we support you? And then he'll be like, oh, go to my website that's here and maybe you can buy something. Yeah. And I bet that they make a ton of sales because people just want they buy because they want to support the creator.
And I want to touch on the creator part again. Like, so if you did my strategy where one day it's cooking, one day it's something else, and something pops off, you can learn to kind of niche yourself into what is working and what popped off. But you're never going to know what's going to work without testing and trying stuff out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's say I did, house fixes and nobody gave a shit. And then I did the recipes and nobody gave a shit. But as soon as I made that coffee content, it blew up. And then I made more coffee content. And then that blew up and that blew up. Then I could somehow...
You're a coffee creator now.
Yeah, you would become a coffee creator. And that's how some of these big creators start out. They had no idea what was going to work. They kind of tested the fields, making just good, fun, valuable content. And they found something that worked. And then they repeated what was working over and over and over again.
Does anybody know the Stad guy?
The what?
The Stad guy. Gstaad. Okay. So he has an account. If you guys want to look him up, his whole account came up by accident, but now he's got millions of people. He's like an actual creator, does brand deals all the time. His whole account was essentially, I think he's an Apple engineer. He lives in London. And he's got friends at Apple or friends in that, like his social circle who were like 1% billionaire rich. And he got a message one time from his friend who was complaining that his masseuse was late while staying in Stad, the Swiss, staying in the Swiss ski resort. And like how his whole day was ruined because the masseuse was 15 minutes late. Ridiculous first world problems. So he made a couple videos satiring what they did. He's like, this guy is like, I'm sitting here listening to this. Like, this is not an issue, but like this was, so we started making 1% kind of jokes and it just turned into this whole, it's like a satire account, but it's accurate according to people in that world. Like I watched, there was a whole Forbes article on it and I started binging his content. It's gotten more mainstream now, but if you go all the way back to the beginning, they're like really specific references to like really specific expensive restaurants. And
okay.
But again, it was something that he just tried, it blew up and he's like, oh, I guess I have to make this type of content now.
Yeah.
And just double down.